Hello, it's time again for our Wednesday devotional. I trust that all is well in your life and in your heart. I have really enjoyed the time I've been able to spend with our missionaries during our 4-Sunday missions conference. This is a bit unusual because usually I can spend time with them together as a group when we have a normal missions conference. But I've enjoyed being able to spend individual time with them. I had a wonderful conversation recently with Brother Brian Barry, who's missionary to Ireland. Brian is single, and I asked him the question about prospects for marriage, if he has a girlfriend and so forth, and he is very wise in his approach, believing that God will bring just the right person into his life at just the right time. As it is now, traveling from place to place, he doesn't really have the opportunity to make many personal contacts or spend much time with someone, even if he met someone. He did say that a number of pastors and a number of mothers are trying to help him find that right woman. But we talked for a few moments about contentment. We talked for a few moments about being content whether he was single or married. He'd love to be married. He said working with children, working with teens, as he plans to do, and eventually to start a church there in Ireland would be much more convenient if he had a wife and family. But I shared with him that I'd written a poem some time ago, and I was reminded that contentment is a matter of our heart and not a matter of our circumstances. I've shared with you thoughts about contentment, but I wanted to take just a moment and share this poem that I wrote, probably 20 years ago, about contentment, and just see if it'll help us this week to be content. A single came to me one time and said, "I wish I had a wife and kids and family. I really would be glad." I asked a question just to know exactly what he meant. If that is not God's will for you, would you be discontent? His answer showed that he was wise beyond his tender years. I want to do God's perfect will. His eyes now filled with tears. I wasn't really thinking of God's perfect will for me. I yield my life to him alone. His will is best for me. A married man then came to me and wished that he was free. The heavy burdens of his heart were from his family. "I have no burdens now, it seems. I can't do what I want. I'd like to have the freedom still to fish and hike and hunt." I asked him if he realized that God had blessed his life by giving him those lovely kids and a sweet, loving wife. He paused, and then he looked at me. A tear was in his eye. I'm sorry that I felt that way. And he began to cry. My thoughts were only of myself. I now can clearly see God's done exactly what is best for all of them and me. Let's learn from these two gentlemen a lesson for today. Contentment is God's will for us. Let's trust him all the way. Our circumstances are not to determine whether we're content or not. Let's determine in our hearts to be thankful for what God has given us, what he's doing in our lives, and be content. That's my thought for this day. I trust you'll have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and a wonderful life.